Yeah, what's up, Fit Fam? My name is Sully Lupke. I'm right here with John Six, and this is Guys with Thighs. Buddy, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great,
It's
man.
good to see you, man. It's real good to see you. I'm doing well. I'm having fun. I'm a little caffeinated. It's late at night, but it don't matter. We're getting it done. Don't worry. I'm hydrating too.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
So I'm in the middle of 75 hard, right? And last night I had the first test day of you need to drink a lot of water in a little bit of time.
Shit.
It was shoot. So I was just like, yep, all right. And I did drink too much, quote unquote, too much water, right? Mm-hmm. Because all I did was go to Walmart because I knew I was behind, and I grabbed the 100 ounce freaking bottle.
Oh god,
for
that must be
buck 34. Oh,
I
it
got
was
a 52 ounce that was this big.
Yeah, this is my 50 ouncer right here, but it was the 100, and I'm just like, well, before we go to bed, we're going down. So I had to get up and pee. I felt old. Old during the middle of the night because I had to get up and pee.
I was about to say, there's no way you slept through all that. You had to be peeing.
It's okay. I got to sleep in though, so it was okay. So every time I woke up, I just am like, another hour. So I actually slept in a little bit till 6:30 today. I know.
There you go. That's much better.
Freaking wild times. But 75 hard is going smooth.
Yeah.
I post my picture every morning because that's the first thing I do. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just boom, habit, boom. And people are like, oh, the cut's going well. I'm like, brother, I haven't even started yet. We're just getting warmed up. We got 61 days left. So this is the time to go.
Yeah, you didn't even play with calories at all yet. Just adding some walking in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What I really wanted to do in the first 2 weeks, because that's what I'm about into, so I call it's some people call it phases. I call it training blocks, right? Or meso phases is what some people call it. But training blocks for me, so I'm doing 2 weeks to where I stayed at maintenance and a slight surplus, right? Okay. And I added activity. So once again, getting in the habit, getting in the groove, making sure I'm lifting weights. Now, I'm about to go into a 2 to 3 week cut. The first 2 weeks is going to be hammering kind of cut, right?
Okay.
And then I'm going to go back into maintenance, and then I'm going into a cut again. So, And the reason for that is because I always say peaks and valleys, right? But so when I go to my cut, your metabolism naturally slows down because your body's trying to conserve everything, right? Body doesn't like fight or flight. And when you're fat burning, kind of putting it in fight or flight.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, because the body likes body fat in order to burn in times of need. Well, we live in the first world society, luckily. Mm-hmm. World hasn't burned down yet. We live in a first world society where food's always available to us, so we don't necessarily have to worry about that. So, first 2 weeks, putting in a caloric deficit, metabolism slows down, 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm going to put it in maintenance, maybe a slight surplus on specific days, on a leg day or something, to where I'm burning, right? And I'm going to stoke that metabolism a little bit more. I'm going to throw some wood on the fire, get her burning. Yeah. And then that last 3-4 weeks, I'm just going to
shoot straight back into it.
And we're going to be sliced and diced, and it's going to be great. I can't wait. So that's actually how I go through my eating. Simple, not easy because you have to stick to your macros, but simple for me.
Yeah, dude, that I absolutely love that. And so with you saying it's this simple, not easy too, something that I think of, that's actually going to be harder for a lot of people because with you going down and then getting to eat more food again, then going back down, it's I just went through it. When I got back to eating more food, it's oh shit, I want to eat everything for months. So it's you get that 1 or 2 weeks, but you got to stay disciplined because you're going straight back into it.
Well, and for me, I make it dummy proof because back in my football days, I took one too many hits to the head. Mm-hmm. So before I was even you played offensive line and then I played. So before I was a punter, I was a safety and I played quarterback as well. So I was getting it right. But that's why when I was in college, I punted. Nobody can touch me. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
unless you decide to take off running.
Well, yeah, that's true. We only did that twice. So what I do is I kind of dummy proof it. So how I do that is I carb cycle. So that means that on specific days I have more carbs, on specific days I have low carbs. But the protein and the fats most of the time stay the same every single day. So instead of having, lowering it by my total caloric deficit every single week, I just take out a carb meal. So my caloric deficit is coming out, but my protein and my fats don't change at all through this entire process. So I call it the 1 to 5 method. That means 5 carb meals because I eat 5 meals a day. So that means carbs, 5 meals, 5 carb meals, hence 1 to 5. Over 7 days of the week, 35 meals, right? I'm mathing right? Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you got carry the 1. All right, cool. So what I do is, so I start out, we're just going to say that I'm at maintenance right now or everything like that. So I'm eating 5 for 7 days, 35 meals. All of a sudden on this cut, I'm going to take 3 carb meals out. So automatically I'm down to 32 carb meals, but I'm still eating all of my fats and my protein every single day. So that doesn't change. So at the end of the week, my carbs are down and my calories are down for the total of the week, but my protein and my fat stayed the same. So for me, it's pretty simple just to be like, oh, I'm just not eating bread for breakfast, right? But for my snack, my lunch, my other snack, my dinner, I get my bread.
The same rice or bread or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Whatever I put in there. So it could be a tortilla, it could be bread, it could be my cereal and my Monster Mash, things like that, right? And so it just makes it easy. On a 3-day, for my snacks, I'm just like, oh, I don't have my cereal and my Monster Mash, and I don't have my apple with my second snack. But I'm still eating my carb in the morning, carb at lunch, carb at night. So for me, that's the easier way to do it. Some people, that's why fitness is, it depends. Some people might like just to cut it all out. And I like to move up and down.
Yeah, dude, I love that too. Cause you called it carb cycling at the beginning. Like that's really, you said it a couple times, like you're calorie cycling. And I want to emphasize that because like, that's really important to be able to do, like having some like refeed days that we've talked about, like going up in calories or just doing that naturally with calorie cycling like that is going to help prevent that adaption that your body does to the lower calories. So you mentioned it before, your body is going to burn less calories over time as you're eating less calories. And cycling those calories up and down naturally is going to help you combat that. You're not going to see your metabolism
logs on the fire. Is how I say it. Because I want my metabolism to burn and be as efficient as possible throughout the entire process. And a lot of people make the mistake of being like, your calories reset every 24 hours. They don't.
Nope.
Every midnight, you don't get 2,400 more calories, right? Or whatever calories you're eating. So that's why I actually like to look at it as the long-term game, right? So I look at it at a week in advance and actually 2 weeks because I like to know what I'm doing the next week as well. I have it planned out in my blocks, my phases. So, right? So I know if I'm going to have 35 carb meals or 35 meals with carbs, or if I'm going to have 70 meals with carbs by the end of the 2-week process. And then that way I can pick and choose. I got a heavy leg day here. I'm going to need more carbs. I need energy. I got a high run day here. Need more carbs. I got arms here. Well, we can make that a 3-day. I don't need too much energy to get through arms. Everybody likes arms anyways. So that's how I personally do it. And I know you do it a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I like to keep it consistent all the way through. So I'll keep pretty much the same when I'm trying to cut. I'll keep it the same amount of carbs each day. So I will let it slide a little bit with hey, maybe a little bit more fat one day, lower carb, a little bit higher carb, lower fat, where as long as I'm hitting that protein and calorie number, I stay real close to the same amount of fats and carbs as my actual goal. But that just lets a little bit more wiggle room on hey, if you get real busy and can't have your normal chicken and rice, you can still make that work. But yeah, I do that consistently throughout because I mentioned it whenever you said you're going up a little bit and then back down. I'm a person that once I start going back up, I want to keep going back up.
Papa wants to eat. And I totally get that. I totally get that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of that's why I don't do cheat meals when I'm trying to diet because I want to eat everything. I can't just have a couple chips. I got to have the whole family size bag.
It's a serving, right? I mean, like seriously, like it's a serving. A pint of ice cream is a serving. A family size. I mean, you get some queso dip too, and you're
oh, that's one serving.
Exactly, it's one serving.
Full bag of chips, full thing of queso.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Hey, we're kidding. Yeah, but that's why we don't do cheat meals. We do refeed meals.
Exactly. That's where you're eating
in our nutrition.
Yeah.
Actually, so I want. We'll come back to like how you eat in a little bit, but I actually want to touch on this because when I was on the Real AF team, we actually had this question about somebody saying like, "Hey, can I have a cheat meal, quote unquote, to where I'm adding calories in on purpose?" And and it kind of split the room just because of the way that the question was worded. And this is where old trainer brain came out. And I'm like, well, actually, yes, you can. And everybody like, what do you mean?
What?
And I'm like, because if it's planned, that means it's on diet, it's on your nutrition. But the key is that you have to use on nutrition foods. That way it's a refeed and not a cheat meal.
Yeah.
And you hit your macros that you determine, right? So you're not going all out, I'm having everything in sight.
Yes.
It's eating my chicken, my rice, or whatever you determine, your veggies, to hit those specific macros at a higher level to refeed your body, to stoke that metabolism, to reset everything so that you can continue to go forward. Compared to a cheat meal to where it's like pizza. Give it here. And that's completely different because you're just blowing your calories out the door, right? They might
talking
work
about
the
like
same.
So you're talking about like, hey, that's approved for 75 hard?
Anything.
That's what you're talking about?
Yes, but I was just saying we got the question because somebody's like, I'm on 75 hard. Can I purposely up my calories? And I was like, yes, absolutely, because it's a refeed as long as you're sticking on plan with on plan foods compared to a cheat meal to where you're just eating everything inside.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So I actually, Joe back in the warehouse, when I was coaching him through, he actually did 75 hard on a bulk and he did really, really well. But he was, and on a cut too, he did a little bit of both during it. But basically he was just like, oh, dude, like, am I going to fail? Like, you're increasing my calories and stuff. Or like, oh, this is a refeed on this taste. Like, am I going to fail this? It's like, no, I am telling you to do this as your coach. It's like, so if essentially your coach would put that in your plan for you to get better results, then you're going to stay on program.
Yep. As long as you're sticking with the foods that are on your approved diet plan to hit those macros.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, all I gave him was more beef and rice. Like he was all on that beef and rice. So it's like, hey, just eat more rice and you'll feel better.
Exactly. Yeah. And so with nutrition, like between refeeds and cheat meals, I really kind of wanted to make that clear. So what you're talking about is like you're bad at having cheat meals because then you want to continuously eat the ice cream, eat the chips, but refeeds you do use within your program.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So it would depend on like how the progress is coming along.
Yep.
But a big reason why I would use that is if I hit a plateau. So if my weight starts to, I'm dropping, if it starts to slow down, even if it's not stopped, but if it's slower than I want, then hey, we'll throw in a refeed day, like about a day or two. So you'll do 1 to even 3 days in a row of that refeed is how I would do that. So basically, if it's still helping you, like when I have a refeed and my weight stays the same where it drops, like, okay, I'm going to do that one more time. It stays the same or drops, do it one more time. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I kind of see that. It's like, keep doing that until your body essentially tells you, hey, go back down.
And I touched on it earlier, but basically you're kicking yourself out of that fight or flight. You're allowing the body to kind of like go back to homeostasis and just be like, okay, natural habitat, here we are, right? And then you take it away again and it starts dropping again. But because it's in fight or flight, it doesn't want to let go, right? It doesn't want to keep dropping. So then you're just like, oh no, that's where those plateaus happen. Give it a little refeed, stoke that metabolism, and then sooner or later you're just going to be like, bam. That's why after your show, even though you were adding food, your body let go and you lost like what, 6 pounds?
Yeah, no, I was actually going to say that. I learned that the refeed, like I actually personally learned I have to refeed a lot more than I thought to get that to happen, to get the cortisol to go down, to drop some water. Because after the show, I dropped down, it was to 4 pounds below what I was on stage.
Yeah, and you looked fuller. fuller, felt stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's because I was increasing those carbs and getting that stress down, and my metabolism's shooting back up as well because I was still taking like something like our thyroid drive that helps to support your metabolism here first form. Like that helps to give your thyroid the nutrients it needs to function better. I was continually taking that. So it's still going up along with the food that I needed. I was burning more and more calories. And that's essentially what happens with those refeeds. So that's essentially for those 2 weeks you're at maintenance or going up a little bit more calories. You're doing the same exact thing. You're just doing it over a longer period of time. Where I'm doing it in short bursts whenever I'm like, okay, we slowed down here. Let's kick it back up a notch for 3 to 4 days. And then go straight back down. So it's just different amounts of time. It's what personally has worked for us. So you got to trial and error, see what works best for you personally.
Yeah, and that's why the greatest answer, or not the greatest answer because it's frustrating, but the correct answer in health and wellness fitness is it depends.
Yes.
Because everybody's different. And
100%.
Your coach works with you specifically, and my coach works with me specifically to play around with those things and figure out what works for us.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why, like, at times, like, you may not get the exact results that you're looking for.
Lessons learned, baby. Lessons learned. So many lessons.
So many. And they're going to keep on coming. I am excited.
That's good. That's good. I want to do this until I die. So, here we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have enough time on this earth to learn everything. So humble yourself and be open to learning no matter what situation you're in. It's like I'm going off on a tangent here, but no matter what I'm talking about, it's like I make sure I keep an open mind. Like, I have not learned anything about the subject before. Like, if I'm going in and want to learn something, I'm just like, hey, forget everything I know about the subject previously. I'm going to try to pull something.
Bring it out. You know what I love? And actually, I've been saying this quote a lot lately. It's kind of crazy, but it's coming up a lot. It's from Jim Rohn. Do you know who Jim Rohn is?
Yeah. So
I probably brought him up before.
You introduced him to me a long time ago. And
hey, man, I have godfather of motivational speaking, right? Like he's the one that was the mentor to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is a mentor to like almost every single person under the face of the planet right now. Like, it's crazy. He's one of the OGs, if not the OG. But so Jim Rohn has this quote. He said, "It's true you fail your way to success, but it doesn't have to be your failure. There are thousands of books out there that people have written telling you what not to do because they screwed up. And if all you have to do is go read them." So like, that's what made that when you're like, I keep an open mind to everything because I want to learn. That just triggered that thought because like you do such a great job. Not only books, but also YouTube University, studies, journals. Like you just like, here we go. We're going to be learning today. And you do such a fantastic job. So like it triggered me to where like, yeah, you fail your way to success, right? Like me and you, we both failed before in our transformations and in our physical journey.
Oh yeah.
But we are willing to keep an open mind and then go seek knowledge to avoid those roadblocks in the future. And I just wanted, like, you do such a fantastic job. And it triggered in my mind, like, that's what you do. You, by wiping the database clean and being like, open mind. It could be what I previously thought, or it could be something completely different. I'm going to go find out the right answer. And then you get down to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, so, and we say forgetting everything that you knew before. It's like in the moment you forget everything, you ingest the information, and then later you're like, okay, from what I know, does this make sense? It's like, can I pull something out of this to insert it to what I do? So it's you filter it once you do learn that. And that's actually something, talking about books, actually just reminded me, I took that from a book, and I've mentioned it before. It's called Limitless by Jim Kwik. Yeah, and basically that book, there's the biggest thing that I learned from it is how to learn. So it teaches you how to actually learn rather than like most books are what to learn. This teaches you how to actually ingest the information and remember it.
Yeah, to bring it to recall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's something where like whenever the first time I read it and I was really working on my memory, because when I first read it, I assumed that I had a bad memory. I said it all the time. It's like, oh, I naturally have a bad memory. But like, so first of all, when you tell yourself that you have a bad memory,
you're going to have a bad memory. It's 100%. Like whatever you say comes true, right?
Exactly. It's like the law of attraction. Talked about that before. But so if you believe you have a bad memory, you will. I removed that from my mind and started working on it. Literally within 3 or 4 days later, actually, Tariq back in the warehouse, I had a conversation with him a week or two before about his transformation. And then I asked him, I was like, oh, hey, how's this very specific thing going with what you told me about 2 weeks ago? He's like, dang, 6, you remember that? You got a good memory. I was like, I have never been told that I had a good memory before that.
But now it's reinforced that it works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it only took 1 week for me to remove that from my brain and freaking get better at my memory. But yeah, so highly recommend that book. And to get back to the initial thought, removing what you know just allows you to actually like understand the information better. Because if you're constantly while you're learning and thinking about, oh no, that's wrong, I learned that this way, like you miss details that you may have gotten from keeping a clear mind. Like, hey, this is new information. I'm going to ingest all of it. Yeah, and I learned that from one of my mentors in the Air Force. What he said is like, okay, so we all have life experience, we all have this, we all have that, right? And he's just like, what you want to do is you want to ingest information, you want to ingest knowledge and process it and then come to your own conclusion, right? I don't want you to talk to me and I automatically have your conclusion. I want to be able to take that information that you give to me, process it and come to my own conclusion. Like, yeah, 6 is kind of onto something. Let's do that. Or like, nah, I don't vibe with that. I'm going to go over here. And that, in order to do that, I think you have to have your core values in alignment. I think you have to know who you are truly and what direction you want to take in your life. And that's some like deeper work. We've covered core values in the past. We can do it again in the future. But I really wanted to get that point across to where like, you don't brain dump everything. You bring it in, process it in the way that you process, whether that be writing it down, taking notes, reviewing it, or just letting it stew a little bit, and then coming to your own conclusion. Absolutely. Dude, I love that so much because that's actually in that book, he talks about like it's essentially ways to be able to do that better. And one of the biggest things that I took that actually helped me speed up my reading too. And actually, like I started out reading very, very fast. It had a calculator on how to calculate how many words per minute. Oh, sweet. And I think I was very high to begin with, and I used his little tips and stuff though, and it went up so fast. And this is the one that helped the most. And reading faster this way actually allows you to retain more information because, like, I know everybody has done this before, where you're reading a paragraph and then you're like, "Shit, I don't remember any of that. I'm gonna go reread that." Been there a couple times, I guess.
Yeah,
just a couple. That's what everybody does when they're reading. But the less you do that, the more you actually retain. And how I've been able to do that more is essentially try to create as many pictures in your brain about what you're learning about as possible.
Okay.
Even if it's like something more dry that isn't a story, like try to create associations of like pictures of things to basically things you already know. The information you're trying to learn, associate it to something you already know with pictures in your brain. Yeah. And if you can do more visualization of the words you're reading, you can retain a lot more information. And I encourage everyone to try to read without going back over stuff and see how much you really retain from those paragraphs. Like, hey, you can always go back and reread the whole thing if you feel like you need a little more, but go through a couple different pages and do not stop. Don't go back. Like, try to go through as fast as you can too. And you will be very surprised how much information you can really retain without going back. Because you're like, dang, I actually feel like I remembered more of that. And that it'll be off your first time doing it too. So give that a shot. And I think it will take your reading to the next level. Everyone.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. So when we post this, it's going to be the September 2nd holiday.
Right? Oh, yeah. Labor Day. We
made it to Labor Day. Guess what? We're working, baby. We're working on Labor Day. Yes, I tell you what, because we always work. That's part of it. It's a nice little celebration, right, of doing hard work every single day. And it's just a reminder that, like, hey, we're truly, like, what makes the world go round, right? It's not somebody up in the glass ivory tower. It's people that are out there every single day doing work.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool, but what I wanted to get to is, like, I posted a reel today. It was a little late, but it's just like, okay, we got 30 days in September. And it's pretty crazy that we're almost to the end of the year. Like like realistically, we have 4 months left, less than 4 months left in 2024.
That's crazy.
What I wanted to ask is like, hey man, like what's kind of the plan for the rest of the year? I know you mentioned to me right before the pod to get your social media back on track. Mm-hmm. And any other plans though? So like, what do you think?
100% getting social media back on track and be posting way more often, getting the stories and actual feed posts. Yep. That's something that I've struggled with a ton in the past.
You were doing good for a while, then I personally got busy, so then I was a bad accountability buddy and I didn't keep you accountable to it. So we both kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's still it's 100% on me too. It's something that I've struggled with a long time, and I've recognized the things that have caused me to fall off, and I'm going to prevent that from happening again.
Love it.
And it's uncontrollables. You have to forget about the uncontrollables, control what you can control. Mm-hmm. And like I've talked about that before here, easier said than done. Sometimes
simple, not easy, bro. I always go back to that. Simple, not easy. And that's where our discipline comes in. And it's just like, okay, cool. Turn the knob here, little adjustment. Turn the knob there, little adjustment. Now we're back where we need to be.
Yes,
right? So besides social media, anything else coming up for the rest of the year?
So I want to put on another probably 10 to 15 pounds. We'll see where we're at. I don't always like putting exact weight goals just because it's like, hey, I'm going to put on as much muscle as I possibly can this year. But I'm guessing about 10 to 15.
I like it. I like it. Cool. So it's going to be a fun 4 months for you. A lot of food.
Absolutely. Lots of eating.
A lot of food. Mm-hmm. I like it. That's cool, man. Yes, for me personally, man, besides Spartan racing, right? So, all right, let's just go through it. I was kind of going through it. In 2 weeks, I have Seattle Spartan race. It's the first time I'm going to be back out there since 2019. Okay. So I'm actually really excited to get back out to Washington. Then let's see here. 2 weeks after that, I'm going to be in Nashville to do a Spartan race. Actually, 3 weeks after that. So I'll be in Nashville to do a Spartan race. 2 weeks after Nashville, I have a Spartan race in Dallas. Okay. I know, right? And then 2 weeks after that, I'll be in Greece.
For the big one.
For the big one. That is the World Trifecta Championships. Now listen to this. Ready? So that means that we're into November, right?
Okay.
All right. So I'm doing the World Trifecta Championships 1 to 3 November. We have a race every single day, right? Then on the 8th through the 10th, I have a CrossFit competition down in Arizona.
Ooh,
right? It's going to be on the Arizona State campus. It's going to be really fun. I'm doing it with Mason and Caleb. Really excited for that.
Fuck yeah.
Back here for an event with Will Be Inspired, William Bates and his foundation Will Be Inspired. We're going to the gala there. It's for vets. In case anybody is interested, I'll actually put the link in the show notes because what Will does is he has a nonprofit and it supports veterans to give them gym memberships throughout the year. So it's a really, really good cause because the veterans, when they, I can speak from experience, when we leave the military, we lose the scaffolding, right? Like we lose our entire support system. So what Will does is he gives veterans this gym membership to where if anybody knows, normally you can find some camaraderie in the gym and it gets people to be live a better, more fit, healthier lifestyle all around.
Absolutely.
So that is on like the 16th, I believe. The weekend after that, back to Arizona for a trifecta weekend Spartan race.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. That's going to be really fun. I have some boys going to that one. So it's going to be a nice little meetup. People that I haven't raced with yet. So it's kind of their first experiences and we're going to get them going. Don't worry. We'll have more in 2025. And then at the end of the month, we're going to Abu Dhabi for another world championship race out in Abu Dhabi. That'll be a trifecta weekend. It is the Beast World Championships. So it's out in the desert out there. And I'm thinking about skydiving. I'm going to go dune buggy riding. I'm thinking about, just like
do it all. You got to go all out when you go to Abu Dhabi. Because he says desert, guys know it's like one of the richest countries on the planet. It is. So I got to work out my budget. So if anybody wants to sponsor me, throw it my way. No, I don't need it for Abu Dhabi.
And then, so that's the first weekend in like December. It's like the end of November, first couple days of December. Then back to Florida for a Spartan race. And that's where we're doing our big First Form OCR meetup. So now we have like 35 people signed up. We're going to get to 50. I know we are. So if you want to run a race, it's a sprint. I'm running the trifecta weekend, so if you want to run other races, you can with me. Just know that we got to be moving. The sprint is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, 12:15 in Sebring, Florida. Come one, come all. Let's get to 50 if you want to. It's going to be an absolute blast. So
hell yeah, dude.
Then I finally get to take a break. Maybe.
Yeah, I was just
because
saying,
something's going to come up.
There's no breaks in there.
Somebody's trying to recruit me for it's called DECA. It's Spartan's version of kind of High Rocks. It's like their indoor.
Yeah, the DECA.
Yes. Yeah. We held an event here. Mm-hmm. Somebody's trying to convince me to do one the next week. In Florida, though, so they're like, you don't have to travel. And
and you just stay in Florida for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm just like, you see the
way being when it's nice and cold up here, so you warm.
I mean, yes. You see the way my budget's set up. But yeah, let's just say through the end of the year, I'm going to be a little busy, but busy's good for me. It keeps my mind focused.
Hell yeah, dude. That is absolutely insane. And that makes me happy because I know that is exactly what makes you happy. So.
You're going to need a little string thing connecting where the hell I'm at.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to ask, hey, where are you this weekend, bro? Just a good Saturday text. Hey, what
time zone? Yeah, that's what time zone? That's funny. So yeah, man, let's just say that the end of 2024 is going to be an absolute blast. It's going to be a blur, but it's going to be a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And hey, while you were going through all your goals at the end of the year, I thought of this is the thing that's probably my most important goal right now that I forgot. And it's something that we actually will have mentioned at the end of pods a lot, and I want to get back to. And that is just my faith in God. I've been trying to strengthen my faith in God and improve the things I'm doing for Him as much as possible.
No time like the present, huh?
Mm-hmm. And it has changed everything. So I definitely encourage you guys, if you're about your faith, then to work on it a little bit. But with the end of the year, I want to be consistent with reading the Bible. So not every single day, but I want to make sure I am consistent every single week with reading the Bible. I want to try to get 5 to 10 pages, probably 3 to 5 days a week.
Sweet.
And then praying multiple times every single day, throughout the day, and I just talked to my friend about this. I don't want to just pray whenever times are bad, whenever I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure I'm praying when times are good. And so this is where most people will struggle, when times are just okay. It's because you're not thinking about.
Yeah, you're on autopilot, right? You don't thank God for what you have every single day, and you don't need Him, right? So, I like that. I like that, and I'm gonna say it for you. If anybody wants to be His accountability partner about the Bible reading, it doesn't have to be every day, but hey, maybe reach out to him. If you guys can work it out, that's going to be between you and 6.
Yeah, shoot me a message.
Yes, so maybe. Get an accountability buddy, and then we can get a couple of people that are watching this along with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're going to start with a couple of my buddies. We're just going to have one day a week where we talk about what has helped us improve our faith that week, maybe something that has made us go off. But just talk about how the week has gone with our faith, and I have a couple buddies who want to do that with. So anybody that wants to join, let me know. We'll get it started.
I absolutely love that. So I think that's a great place to end. And thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing your goals too. I know I kind of put you on the spot there.
Of course, yeah. No, I was just I didn't say anything at the beginning. It's I got more than 2 goals for the end of the year. So
parkour, but we got you.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool. And we got to my favorite one. So
yep, I agree. So all right, y'all. Remember, you help us by commenting, subscribing. If we gave you anything good, if you liked it, if you want to make fun of us, it all helps us with the algorithm.
Yeah,
so,
do that too.
Yes,
make fun of my big ass head over there. Cool.
And make sure that you comment below if we can improve on something, because we need to hear the feedback. Shoot us a message if we need to improve on something, because we need to hear the feedback. And if you like something, throw it below. That way, we love to interact with you. You can find me on Instagram, more than likely. It's the easiest spot. At Sully Luepke. It's my first and my last name, SULLYLUEPKE. And 6, where can they find you?
It's just John 2_SIX on mainly Instagram too. That's where I'm going to be most of the time. So
yep. Yep. And remember, shoot him a message so it gets him on social media.
Yeah, that'll make me get on there a little bit more.
All right, y'all. Until next time, appreciate you. 6. Great episode, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Let's go.
Make it a great week.
Yeah!